we actually operate a national medication error reporting program. And that started in the 1970s as a journal column, and it's now actually a full-fledged national medication error reporting program. But we also have a consumer website called consumermedsafety.org. You can find it if you go to the ISMP website. I thought what I would do tonight is talk about some of these individual case reports that we get. How many of you wear contact lenses? Can you raise your hand if you wear contact lenses? Oh, a significant number. Okay. Have you ever heard of a cleaning fluid called Clear Care?
Yes.
Have any of you accidentally put your contact lenses in the Clear Care solution and then put the contact lenses in your eye? This is probably the worst pain that you have ever experienced. This is why it's so important to, as you heard from Clemencia, read the instructions. And why it's so important for the instructions to be in a format and in an understandable way so that people can understand them. And that's a tough battle. What we would like to see is a total redesign of the package so that you can't use it with a case, a contact lens case. You could only use it if you put it in this platinum ring. Drug name mix-ups. How about this one? So you have a steroid for the eye, and then you have a wart remover, and one of them is called Durazol, and the other one's called Duracell. Now, fortunately, we got the name change on the Duracell, the wart remover, a couple of years ago, but again, you need to be following this information. This is scary stuff. You know, people really do get hurt when they have mix-ups like this. In New York, this is less of a problem, but around the country, we still have about 20% of doctors who are handwriting prescriptions. So, is this Coumadin or Avandia, the drug for diabetes? They're both 4 milligrams. They could be 4 milligrams. Is this Toradol or Foradil? Is this Lipitor or Zyrtec? Here's something that it says that you need to pay attention to. You will no longer receive a paper prescription. What's the problem with that? You don't know what you're supposed to get when you go to the pharmacy now. So I really have to encourage you to please ask for a copy of the medication, the name of the medication being printed, and the strength, and how to take it. Tell your doctor to put the reason for the medication on the prescription so that it'll print out on your prescription, on the label, okay? And you'll be able to check that. Know why you're taking each medicine. Question nurses in the hospital, if you're in bed at a hospital, or pharmacists about the medications that look or sound different than what you expected. On the prescription vial, you may not even realize this, but if you look closely, it actually tells you what the pill's supposed to look like and the markings on the pill. So remember I told you if you put the purpose of the medication on the prescription. Now this is a handwritten prescription, but guess what? Hydralazine is a blood pressure medicine. There's a drug that's very close and has the same strength called hydroxyzine, Vistaril, Atarax, that is for itch. So he wrote for this blood pressure, hydralazine, he says, as needed for itch. So immediately the pharmacist or the nurse can tell there's something wrong here. Please don't crush the med unless you know it's okay to crush the medicine. We have a list on our website of medicines that should not be crushed. Why not? Because they have a special coating that doesn't allow it to go off in the stomach, to break down in the stomach for it to start being absorbed. It goes off in your intestines so that your stomach won't be harmed. Sometimes you'll get a drug and it has a suffix on it, like CD or XL or SR. That's a clue that it's a long-acting and shouldn't be crushed. When you go to the pharmacy, look-alike medicines on the shelf. If you look real carefully, this is with iron. This is not. Easy to mix these up. Ingredients overlooked. How many of you have heard of the product Excedrin? Did you know this has aspirin in it if you're allergic to aspirin? And we actually had a patient go into anaphylactic shock after she swallowed Excedrin, never seeing in the tiny letters down here, aspirin, contains aspirin. It's on the drug facts panel though. This is the drug facts panel. And by the way, some of these are sealed, so you might look here and think that's all the information. No. Unpeel it before you purchase the drug. Getting someone else's medicine at the pharmacy, that's probably the #1 problem that we have reported from consumers. Never, ever, ever leave the pharmacy with a bag that you don't open and look at what's inside. We actually did research on this, and it was published in a peer-reviewed journal, and by asking the patient's name and one other identifier, like their birth date or their address, and then also having them open the bag, we were able to decrease the patients walking home with the wrong med by 80%. These are myths, and patients do this. I'm supposed to take one, but you know what? If I take two, I'll get better faster. It's not right. Second myth, what works for me will work for you. They give their pills to somebody else. Well, your doctor prescribed it for you for a reason. It might not match what your next door neighbor wants to use it for. And the third myth, it doesn't really matter where I keep my medications. Boy, you have no idea how many tragic events there have been because people actually believe that, and they're not aware of Brady syndrome, they're not aware of up and away storage and all these other things. So anyway, this is all real. Every single one that we've talked about, including these, have happened and been reported to us at one point over the last 40 years. We have a lot more that we don't have time for, and I was telling Eileen we could write a book, and really could. And so I hope, at least this was a little bit helpful, and I think Eileen's going to try to do something with this material on the website as well. And thank you very much, and we have a little time for, thank you.